Great. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Tuesday, April 7th, a year of our Lord 2026. My Picardo Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9/11 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America, the country that tells you how it's gonna be. It's also the place for the brave. Like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior care community. Like James Fry, Hazel Township, Gene Cole, Dalton, Joseph Graziano, Drums. Veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be, could not be, never should be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because it is its power. The power of government always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. Our great founding fathers knew that government power, because of human nature, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society only. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in history, freedom was declared to be, by law, an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups, nor could it be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they lie. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show will always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. It will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly, and their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor. Designed and sadly necessary to save our great republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness, which can bring this noble and successful experiment down. We have to honor our obligations and aggressively oppose it, and we promise we will. So, Donald Trump has really laid the marker down this morning. And, you know, I watch this, and I say to myself, the lockstep. Oh, the 25th Amendment. Now, these are the same people who didn't give a whit about Joe Biden not even knowing his way around an Easter egg hunt. They didn't care. They didn't care that the President of the United States was incapacitated for 4 years. They didn't care how dumb his successor that they were desperately wanted, Kamala Harris, was. They didn't care how dumb. They didn't care how dumb Ketanji Brown Jackson was. She's a Supreme Court justice, but yeah. These people are incredible hypocrites and liars, and that's all they do. And please remember that. That's why you need the sanctuary of sanity, and we will provide it. Hey, if you go on the live stream, you could. I've got my all-time great line of T-shirt on today. It's actually cool, really cool, and all of that, the live stream, brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply, the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, celebrating 75 years in business. Ron Roach, I think he's 93, and he's a veteran. And he still goes to work. So visit roachsupply.com today. We love them. And this hour brought to you also by Tina Morocco. She is a global sales advisor at Premier Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. You can look her up at Sotheby's International in Naples, or go right to the source, Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. She is your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. So Trump put down the marker. And 8 o'clock tonight is supposedly, I know they're looking for ways out of it, because somebody's going to have to rebuild all of this. And there will be short-term, mid-term, and long-term economic, I don't know if you'd consider it pain, but headaches from us taking out Iranian infrastructure. Now, guys, I want you to think about who's mentioning the words war crimes. I want you to think about how many times they've lied to you. I want you to think about their hypocrisy and lies. I want you to think about the fact that they supported giving Iran the resources to threaten the world, not just the Middle East. I want you to consider that. They are idiots. They are not to be trusted. They're not to be believed. So as soon as you hear war crimes, unbelievable. It's just the stupidity. As soon as you hear the 25th Amendment. Now, here's what everybody who even has a semblance of a brain knows. Donald Trump is acting crazy. And his statements have been what they are. It's the only thing crazy people who are still mostly in control of Iran, or certainly they've got enough power to cow anybody normal over there. He's got to convince them that he is the mad bomber. Nixon used this to great effect in his foreign policy. He'd send Henry Kissinger out and say, you know, this madman, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Well, Trump is his own foreign policy expert. And if I got to tell you, if I'm Marco Rubio or I'm one of the negotiators and Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and I'm saying, you know what he's capable of. You better listen. He's not kidding this time. He's not kidding. It is a very smart negotiating tactic because Trump doesn't care what you think about him. And I've said this a number of times. I want you to remember this. He could have waited till after the midterms But he was told and he realized, number one, that they were maybe weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Number two, they were producing ballistic missiles at the rate of 100 a month. They were creating drones in the thousands every month. And that waiting 8 or 9 months could be fatal to a lot of Americans, a lot of people in the Middle East, and then the golden opportunity with their leadership gathering together occurred and it started. So this is all absolutely necessary. Anybody who doesn't see that, you're being stupid. The Iranian regime, and that's why I played Marco Rubio's. I've been telling you this for 4 years. The Iranian regime, homicidal, genocidal whack jobs, were determined to bring about the return of the 12th Imam, which is their version of the end of the world. And the way to do that was to detonate a nuclear weapon in Israel. And if you put on a ballistic missile, over Israel. So that was their plan. They said it. They didn't hide it. They weren't running from it. Anybody doesn't want to. And again, these are the same people who supported the JTPOA by Barack Obama, ending the Iranian oil embargo, Biden releasing $16 billion additional dollars as they were supplying the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah. It's insane. It's so stupid. I'm telling you, these people are so stupid because of blind hatred for Trump, Republican, whatever, not being in power. But they're still talking. They're always wrong, but they're still talking. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Little Richard. Murph says his hit Long Tank Tall Sally debuted in Billboard's Top 100. Would eventually climb to number 6, and that was this date, 1956, for its debut. And, of course, our history, this date in 1862. General Ulysses S. Grant, eventually becoming the head of all Union forces. He defeated the Confederates at the Battle of Shiloh in Tennessee, and Lincoln had found his general. Somebody takes it. Imagine Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim as president and vice president right now. It's a scary thought. It is mind-bogglingly scary. They most certainly would have drugged their feet, and Iran would have most certainly developed a nuclear weapon under their watch, and World War III would have been just right around the corner with them in charge. It would be a disaster, says Tom from Dallas. Exactly. It's exactly correct. It is staggering. Trump is fixing everything that the sickos, the left, the establishment allowed to deteriorate during the Obama years and during the Biden years, which was an acceleration downhill like I've never seen before in this country. Not even when Jimmy Carter was in. Somebody says, you support Trump's Truth Social, claiming the end of an entire civilization, including civilians, women, and children, and you claim the people who oppose us are stupid. You're evil, Bob. Well, you're just stupid. You're just a dumbbell. See, you don't understand. You don't know what evil is. You're calling me evil. A local radio talk show host, that proves you don't know what evil is. And obviously don't. You support the Democrats. You have no clue what you're talking about. You're a dumbbell, an idiot. Why you intend to be that way? Because I see you strung together an actual sentence. It's not quite proper English, but it's fine. So you're proving how intentionally, willfully stupid you are. And again, the other part about these left-wingers, the other part about these Democrats, they cannot hear. I explained why Trump said what he said. It's part of a negotiating tactic. And by the way, if you hadn't seen it, if we had never seen him do it before, then I'd say, well, they never saw it before. No, you're just willfully an idiot. I don't get it. I really don't. This is about self-preservation against a singularly evil, like you can go even to Putin. You could go to Xi. You could go to Kim Jong-un. You could at least say, all right, they're going to have their own self-interest at heart. None of them wanted to end the world by using a nuclear weapon. The leadership of Iran did. So you just don't, I mean, that kind of stupidity is just breathtaking. It really is. God almighty. Somebody points out PA United States Senator John Fetterman said the problem with the current Democrat Party is they want to defeat President Trump instead of our adversaries. They're out to kill and destroy America. It all makes no sense. President Trump is not Iran. I support the survival of Israel. No, these people are willfully stupid. I don't know why. Listen to that idiot texting in. That's just so dumb. I'm evil. Iran should be left alone. Their leadership should be left alone. It's just, you can't even make up that level of stupidity It's like Jimmy Fallon, who's going to be on tomorrow. Jimmy Fallon from Fox says it's weapons-grade stupidity. Wow. I shudder. I shudder at the thought of it. Good morning, Bob. Charles from Scott Township. Do not these far-left fools know it's not only about Iran, it's about showing the rest of our adversaries not to mess with us? Have a good day. God bless. Yep. But, Charles, we're not talking to anybody normal. We're not talking about anybody normal. They are not normal. There's a mental illness that has overcome. These are not pacifists. They're not at all. They had no problem with Obama bombing people. They had no problem with Clinton bombing people. They had no problem with Biden's administration doing stuff. None whatsoever. These people are blinded by mental illness. And they don't care. Yuck. Too disgusting to think about. So let's take a break. Let's hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back. Veterans Tribute, the weather, and then you. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you dutifully, proudly, patriotically by our man, John Basiliga. Today featuring his great Serenity Care personal care community, the gold standard for senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. 4 locations in the Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County: Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia Care Services at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. Local owner, that's John. He's got a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in the area and beautiful personal care homes for seniors to live in. Completely renovated, inside and out. It's an all-inclusive monthly rent. Individually controlled heating and cooling in each resident room. Emergency call systems in every resident room. It's the best. It is the gold standard in Northeast Pennsylvania. Serenity Care. James Fry. He was 82 when we lost him March 23rd. He was from Hazel Township, formerly of Summit Hill. Husband of the late Agnes Pina Frey, who passed away in 2006. Born in Coaldale, he was a graduate of Summit Hill High School. He enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard, serving all of us during the Vietnam War, 1962 to 1966. He wasn't done yet. He then served all of us in the Pennsylvania State Police from 1970 until retiring in 1992. James is a member of St. Joseph Parish of Panther Valley in Summit Hill. Avid outdoorsman. Hunter. Surviving 2 sons, a daughter, 3 granddaughters, and other family members. James Fry. Our great veteran this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care, the senior living system in Northeast Pennsylvania. AccuWeather forecast brought to us by Montage Mountain Resort, which is swinging into spring along with the rest of us, although it's a chilly day today. Windy and chilly, they say. Cloudy this morning, then a blend of sun and clouds this afternoon, 44 degrees. Tonight, clear and colder. It's going to get all the way down to 23. Tomorrow, Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, high 55, low 30. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun, high 59, low 40. Friday, turning cloudy and warmer, 71 degrees, low 43. Saturday, cooler with clouds yielding to sun, high 60, low 35. And that's your weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, where it is 41 degrees.
Open Borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal.
Isn't that cute? Murph tells us this date, 1962. 18-year-old Shelley Fabre. She was starring on the television show The Donna Reed Show as Mary Stone. And at the same time had the #1 hit with Johnny Angel. She must have thought, I'm going to be a star for the rest of my life. But I mean, everybody knows that name if you're from around that area. I can't picture who she is at the moment. Somebody said I was going to take is it Rail Riders tonight, opening night? It may be too cold for that. Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to suggest that you take the family anyway. All you have to do is pretend it's a football game. Bring your blankets, bring your winter wear, and you'll enjoy it. I'm telling you. I always get a kick out of, and it's me too, by the way, like, oh, cold weather for baseball. Well, we do it for football all the time. You do it for soccer all the time. Let's do it for baseball tonight. I did not know that was their opening game. So we talk about what fools these people are. Now, here's somebody. Here's somebody says, retired guy here, I know you can't fix stupid, so how do you fight it? Well, unfortunately, you just have to keep bullying ahead, and you have to ignore them. You just have to ignore them. And then the other thing we have to ignore is the softies. Because there's people who just soft. They don't care about politics. They don't care who's in office. They just care about their personal comfort. They don't care about the future of the country. They really don't. They're just living and they want everything to go swimmingly for them. That's all they care about, their creature comforts. And like, oh my God, the gas prices. Well, they don't care about their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. They don't care about the future of the country. They're not willing to sacrifice anything. So it's not just the crazies. They're sick. They're mentally ill. You'll never reach them. It's the softies. And these are the people that they don't want any inconvenience, no matter what is at stake. And by the way, there's the same people that won't be around to help when the whole world is collapsing on top of us because Iran started a nuclear war in the Middle East. No, they don't care. So it's not just them. Somebody says you have to be willfully ignorant on this war. It's never been more clear this had to happen. The religious nuts in Iran have killed hundreds of Americans and openly say they want nuclear weapons and want to and will use them. They said it themselves. This is what I'm telling you. They don't even try to hide it. Yet you have people with such bad TDS, they are against what has to happen only because it's Trump doing it. And by the way, Trump's the only one who would do it. Look at Bill Clinton tried to pay off Kim Jong-un. It failed miserably. They developed nuclear weapon missiles and weaponry. Obama tried to pay off the mullahs in Iran. It failed miserably. They stepped up all of their activities with their proxies, supporting Russia against Ukraine, the whole bit. Stupid, disgusting Joe Biden did worse. He did more of the same. And how did it go? It brought them to the verge of being able to start a nuclear war. And these idiots don't care. Dirt says this. He says, Bob, stock market's fallen. Gas prices have gone up before. The only difference is Trump, thanks to the media. Yeah, you nailed it. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. I do have, I do hope. You got to sing with Elvis. Murph tells us that this date, 1962, he moved from number 9 to number 4 with his hit, Good Luck Charm. Bob Cordaro back with you on the Eponymous program. Just reminding you, we are on live stream. I've got my all-time great line of clothing on. And the live stream is brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. That means they're good. So you go to roachsupply.com today, R-O-C-H-E. Roach Supply. Great people. All right, I want to play this for you. I've got calls I got to get to, but I've got to play this. I want to show you. Now, Bernie Sanders, who's anti-ICE, and I've told you, he's just a stupid old fool. Likeable, but just a stupid old jackass. Now, here's Bernie Sanders, who touted open borders under Biden, who defended it about open borders in 2015. Play it, Bulldog. How scary are these people? Seriously. And I could play them all day, lying and making it up, passionately, against everything they're for now. Attacking Iran. Oh, we've got to attack Iran. We can't. Name it. It's insanity. Somebody texts in, the hypocrisy of the elitist left. Democrats has no bounds or self-awareness. Latest case in point, one must show picture ID and proof of Illinois residency to get a voucher from the state to get into the Obama Presidential Library. Oh, my God. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Somebody else texted, and this is appropriate. Bob, they forgot all about 9/11. How many Americans we lost. It would have been many more if it wasn't for some great, brave Americans step up and stop these people. We would be in the worst position if we let Iran get nuclear weapons, LTS. And they know that. It's sickening. It's actually sickening. All right, let's go to Bill from Pittston. He's calling about Shelley Fabre and a number of people. I did not know this, Bill. Somebody texted and they said in the show, Coach, she played the wife. So I've got to try to picture her. Shelley Fabre.
Yeah. She had real long hair, the string, like the curly hair. She played a reporter, TV reporter. She was also in Brian's song with James Caan about the relationship between Gail Sayers and.
I remember that show. Well, I don't remember. I'm not picturing her. I don't know why.
Very skinny. She was also in Spin Out with Elvis Presley.
How about that? So she
and
was
her
a star.
aunt was, in her own right. Her aunt was Nanette Fabre, fame of Broadway. She was in a musical with Bing Crosby and Oscar Levant called Bandwagon in the 50s. It was a very popular musical. So she comes from a lineage of Broadway actors and stuff. She's married to Mike Farrell from MASH.
So she's still around, huh? How about that?
Oh,
That's great.
Yep. The other thing. Yeah, yes, it's interesting past. But anyway, the other comment, I thought Donald Trump's Easter message was better than the Pope's.
Yes, it was. It was. And I mean, look at, we have a second pope following this left-wing lunacy, and I don't get it. I don't like it. It's not representative of the Catholic Church philosophy to me. And I will say this, I mentioned it in the past. I don't care if you criticize the United States and Israel for attacking Iran. If you give the balance, which is that the Iranian leadership was pure evil, they hated anyone that was not part of their evil cult, and that they were dangerous, then I'd say, all right, the guy just wants peace. No, this is something different and at a scarier level.
He's got a political agenda. He might as well run for governor of Illinois. And theologically, like I said, that I did find that text that he talked about God not listening to the prayers completely out of context. It had to do with Israel being unfaithful.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with what he was talking about. Either he's if he had a substantial argument, okay. No, he doesn't. He's terrible at what he does. Like I said, he's an accountant, and there's no way he's doing my taxes. So,
I'm with you. Well, I'm with you. I'm disappointed. And by the way, it would be appropriate following Pope Francis that if they picked an American, he'd be a left winger. It's just the way the Roman Catholic Church is going. It's sad.
Well, there's some good conservatives in there, but of course, Francis disarmed them.
Yep.
Like Bishop Strickland, there's some really good, and Bishop Barron, who you like very much. There's some good conservative. And like you said the other day, you're a good Catholic. Just because this Pope doesn't live up to the things, you follow the tenets of your faith. And you know, if he's not following the tenets of Christ, he's kind of undermining his own authority by his own will.
Yeah, but I mean, and I don't. I'll take leadership from people who know what they're talking about and who are even-handed in what they review in terms of world events. If they're not, well, then go ahead. You say whatever you want. Doesn't affect me. It's not going to move me. It's going to disappoint me at most.
Well, your comments the other day were spot on. So now kudos to you. Good job.
Pleasure, Bill. Thank you, man. And we'll see you in a little while, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me 10:01 and change. That means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll do all of that, and then we'll be back. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:10 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch this beautiful Tuesday, April 7, 2026. Here in the great Northeast, this is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, today featuring his great Serenity Care senior care community to honor, with the help of John, our veterans we lost this year, but who served this country. People like James Fry, Hazel Township, formerly of Summit Hill, Gene Cole of Dalton, and Joseph Graziano, Rocky from Drums. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, who we will not allow to be canceled, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who will hearken forth on the program. Again, we've got insane people surrounding us. It's frightening. Hey, this hour of the live stream, go to WILKNewsRadio.com and you press the Bob Cordaro Show, and then my smiling moon face will come up. Sometimes scowling. And I've got my all-time great T-shirt on. Not referencing me. That's the name of the clothing line. But anyway, and I don't get paid for that. I just wear it because I like them. But Roach Supply sponsors all that. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. They and Chapman Supply in Clark Summit. They're celebrating 75 years in business, which means they're honest, they're good at what they do, and it's the right price. And it's a great, great family. My man Mark Mayer sent me a picture of Shelley Fabre. I recognize her. And he sent me the picture from... So thanks to Bill from Pittston, but he sent me the picture from Brian's song. Yeah, it's like just one of those all-time American Girl, all-American Girl cuties. And so there, I know who Shelley Fabre is now. I can picture her. Yeah, guys, I don't understand it. We go through this nonsense with these people. And they just, Bob, the person who told the Iranian people to rise up and take their government back is now threatening to kill them all, make it make sense. No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. That's what you heard. I'll bet you didn't even read his Truth Social post. That isn't what he said, that he's going to kill them all. He's going to bomb them back to the Stone Ages. Now, something very important to understand. The IRGC, that is the military wing. You could really compare them in a very analogous fashion to Hitler's SS. They are not the regular army. They are the enforcement for evil, the IRGC. And this IRGC, very similar, but even in a more systematic way. In Nazi Germany, they would see the SS, the Waffen-SS would see a business that they liked, or they'd find out it was owned by a Jew. And they would come in and offer them 10 cents on the dollar. And if they said, well, no, I'd rather hang on to my business, then they would just either destroy the business or take it over by force and pay nothing. But the IRGC has been systematically inserting themselves into major manufacturing, power delivery, railroads, oil refining, all of that. They own it. So the corruption has been at a level that's beyond our understanding. We've never seen anything like it. And it is essentially the perfection of what the Waffen-SS in Nazi Germany did. So how do you kill this hydra-headed monster, the IRGC? Because the clerics are the inspirational leaders, and yeah, they got paid a lot of money too. They stole. But the IRGC is behind the suppression of the Iranian people, and they are the force which would prevent regime change. So you have to attack their economic platforms in order to get rid of them. It's sad, it's true, because they're not giving it up. It's amazing. So that's what's going on. It's a craze. Somebody texts in, the Democrat Party is totally incompetent body of lawmakers and obstructionists. Look what happens when they aren't undermining the Americans, people in the country. A perfect example is a successful rescue of the downed pilot airman over the Easter holiday in Iran. No Democrat Party interference. Yep. They suck. They are awful. They are now anti-American, except for John Fetterman. Oh, by the way, speaking of this phony governor, Shapiro, he's going to be appearing. Somebody sent me this. He's going to be appearing at the Action Network. That's that corrupt fool, Al Sharpton. So he's all in. He could care less about Pennsylvania. It's all about burnishing his left-wing credentials to run for president. We are now an afterthought as Pennsylvanians. Hey, let's go quickly to my man, Luciano from Luzerne County. Hi, Luciano.
Thank you, Bob, for taking my call. Let me just quickly say, I got two statements and comments to you. You know what they would have done to you. They taught you a lot of things in prison, the other prison mates. And when I lived on the streets, people taught me when I was living on the streets how evil and wicked people can be and how detrimental and how they could do harm to you. You learned, like me being in the streets in Skid Row in Los Angeles, I repeat, and you being in prison, you know how evil, wicked, and disgusting and pathetic human beings can become.
Yep.
And never turn your back on them, because there's a lot of evil. And the Bible says, when Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead, and the disciples went around calling people snakes in the grass. Now, that's not nice words, but how come the disciples of Jesus said that? It's written in the Bible. They called the people that were evil snakes in the grass, and Jesus said what he said. And you know damn well that we need a George Patton like Donald Trump, because like the analogy I had, living on the streets, you learn to watch your back. Yeah. You learn to live. Women taught me living on the streets how evil and wicked people can do. And you know, you would have been eaten up alive in prison if you would have shown how much of a sissy you were, brother. In terms of they would get away with you, they would abuse and exploit you and distort and take advantage of you.
Luciano, what I don't understand is that there's a certain percentage of people who they only care about their immediate needs and wants, and that's fine. That's human nature. Then there are people who want to put their head in the sand, and then these are people of relatively goodwill, but I say they're intentionally stupid. But they want to put their head in the sand and pretend there isn't evil in the world, which Iran is the purest evil on the world. They're not the only, but they're the purest, and the Iranian leadership. And they just want to put their head in the sand and think it's going to go away. That's what the Biden administration tried to do. Oh, send them money. Let them have money. Then they'll be fine. We find out they became worse. They used the resources we allowed them to have against us and our allies and against civilization, and they still won't face reality. It's scary.
One last statement, Bob. When I used to live in California, when they used to pick up hitchhikers, and you know how naive people can be. And God bless white people. I love white women, but they're the most treacherous people when it comes to being condescending and patronizing to illegal migrants. And the blacks are finally getting off the Democratic plantation.
Well, that's left-wing women.
Yes,
There's a big difference.
Women. Yeah.
There's a lot of normal women.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful women of all races. But America first and American citizens first, always in my book, Bob.
Amen, brother. That's our Luciano. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. This date, 1966, Murph says the Beatles recorded their hit, Got to Get You Into My Life, for their upcoming Revolver album. And 1927, this date, the image and voice of Commerce Secretary Herbert Hoover, as bad as he was, or people perceive him to be, let me be more accurate, in responding to the Great Depression. He's the guy who helped set up the whole package. Commerce Secretary Herbert Hoover, before he became president. How about that? This date, 1927. Bob Cordaro back with you. Bob B. pointing out, don't forget the IRGC controls all the water in Iran. And they are actually running out of water because of their stupidity and all the dams that they built. Yep. It's crazy stuff. It's absolutely crazy stuff. And we have to go at their economic levers hard. I don't know if Trump has come to totally realize it yet. But if the IRGC does not lose their economic leverage within Iran, which can only be done by complete destruction of the infrastructure, if they don't lose that leverage over the Iranian people, there can never be a free Iran. Bob also points out that the IRGC are considering moving the capital because of lack of water. Well, good luck with all of that. They've only got 8 hours to move it. I mean, these are evil people. These are evil, insanely corrupt people. They are the SS. We've seen it. Anybody who denies it, anybody who's like doesn't get it, or I just look at it and I say, you've got to be kidding me. You don't see reality? Well, they don't. They don't understand. And they don't want to understand fact, truth, and reality. They don't have any self-awareness. That's why Bernie Sanders could talk about the open border being a right-wing weapon and then advocate a right-wing or an open border. And by the way, acknowledging that it hurts working people. And then 5 years later, he's for the open border. I mean, these people are insane. Please do not believe these people. Do not listen to them. They're sick. It's deep mental illness. There's no other explanation. I mean, I'm not happy with Trump a lot of the time. I understand why he does things for the most part. And sometimes, frankly, it's ego and childishness. I get it. Fine. You got to take the good with the bad. So if you do take the good with the bad, like, do I wish he said that we're going to wipe out their entire society, their existence? Do I wish he said that? No. But I know why he did. And by the way, I appreciate the guts he has for saying it. He doesn't care what anybody thinks of him. His message is to the few Iranians in leadership that actually want to preserve their power. and that have finally come to realize they can't preserve their power without America acquiescing. That's the key. And he's letting them know, hey, I am crazy. Believe me, I'm crazy. I'm crazier than you, and I will do what it takes. That's all these people understand. Somebody takes in, Obama went on an apology tour and paid our enemy money to achieve their goal. This is why we are in the predicament we're in. Obama was a Muslim sympathizer, and Biden was just a Trojan horse for the left-wing anti-Americans to continue to destroy the American way. LTS says RW. I can't disagree with that, but don't underestimate. Do not underestimate Biden ending the oil embargo against Iran and then freeing up $16 billion in frozen funds, which they used against us and our allies, and which we are now having to spend hundreds of billions to wipe out. He actually did more damage, Biden, in those 4 years than Obama did in 8. It was an acceleration. And look at Obama now. He's just a total jackass. Total jackass. They say they spend all this time attaining power, and then after they attain power and they're out of it, then all they do is they spend their time keeping that candle lit, their candle lit for their ego. So when Trump says, Mr. Paul points out to me, when Trump says we're going to obliterate them, he means their economic means, their infrastructure, that which keeps the RRGC in power and gives them leverage over the Iranian people. It's the only way. I'm sorry. How do you defeat evil? You kill it. Do you have another solution? I don't. Not in human condition. And Mr. Paul points out, will they move citizens, women, and children to the bridges and electric power plants? Forcibly, they may. That can't be our problem. The IRGC, the evil corruption that is the head of this country, the Iranian SS, cannot be defeated, cannot be eliminated. Their oppression over 90 million Iranian people cannot be eliminated without devastating that economy completely. Trump has found that out over the last month and a week. Quickly, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for April 7th. She said, you need a deep freedom to be like Jesus. See, he could have been born in a palace, yet he chose to be poor. Are we so free that we can be completely naked with Jesus there on the cross? That doesn't mean be poor. That doesn't mean you have to be poor. It means that things of this life, material things, money, all that, has to be something that's not essential to you. That's what it means. The great St. Teresa. Thank you, Mary Regina. We'll take this break. We'll be back with our Veterans Tribute after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day. Brought to you by our friend, John Basiliga. Today featuring, and every Tuesday, we like to feature his Serenity Care personal care community. It's senior living in Mid-Valley of Lackawanna County, Old Forge, Wyoming, and Kingston. Dementia care services at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locales. All 4 of these facilities have been completely renovated and are accepting new residents. 1 inclusive monthly rent for all services. John has a passion for providing the highest quality care in the area and beautiful personal care homes for seniors to live in. He is committed in the true sense of the word. Serenity Care. Here's a guy I knew, Gene Cole. We lost him March 5th. He was 93. He was from Dalton. His beloved wife of 65 years, the former Mary Ellen McCabe. They were married in 1961 in St. Mary's Mount Carmel Church, Dunmore. Born in Port Huron, Michigan. Gene proudly served this country in the United States Army, honorably discharged as a captain with the Army Medical Specialist Corps. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in physical therapy and then graduated summa cum laude from Boston University. He later earned his Master's of Business in Hospital Administration from Wagner. He truly loved his work. Gene was head of physical therapy department at Mercy Hospital, then became vice president and head director of physical therapy at Allied. He finally retired as head of physical therapy at Barnes Cason Hospital, Susquehanna, at the age of 83. He attended both Covenant Presbyterian in Scranton as well as Clark Summit United Methodist Church. Loving husband, father, grandfather, brother, and uncle. Great work ethic, and helping others to cope with their pain and improve their health brought passion and fulfillment to Gene's life. He also loved his yard. Isn't that great? That's the neighbor you want. Surviving, in addition to his wife, his daughter, his grandchildren, and many other family members. Gene Cole, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care, the gold standard for senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. AccuWeather forecast. Somebody wants to know if we dumped Snedeker. No. We've got both because we're the Weather Channel. And, we got to know what the deal is here. So, no, Snedeker was even on this morning. I heard him on the morning news. AccuWeather forecast, though, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort, who also want you to know the weather because they mean weather as they swing into spring. Today, windy and chilly. It was cloudy this morning, then a blend of sun and clouds this afternoon. It'll get up to about 44. Tonight, clear and colder, low 23. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, 55 degrees, but it'll drop to 30 again. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun, high 59, low 40. Friday, turning cloudy and warmer, 71 is what they're talking about. It'll get down to 43 at night. Saturday, cooler with clouds yielding to sun, high 60, low 35. I won't be with you Friday. But that is your weather, brought to you by our great friends at Montage Mountain Resort, where it is 40 degrees as I speak. Scorpions. Murph says this date, 1984, they were moving up the charts with their hit, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Yeah, this stuff is, one of the trolls texting, Bob, why didn't Trump build a coalition first to deal with Iran instead of asking for help afterwards? Number one, we didn't need the help. Number two, we needed Israel only to accomplish the mission, which is just about finished militarily. So there's your answer. And three, it would have, there could have been no secrecy. We couldn't have done it on our time. Yeah, let's go to Starmer in Great Britain. Let's go to Macron and say, hey, by the way, we're going to attack Iran. They would have told them. So you're just stupid. And I don't know why. Why? Why are you stupid? Why are you doing this? Please tell me. And another of the trolls, Trump pulling out of the Iran deal increased Iran's nuclear production rate. You're a liar. You're a complete fool and liar. It's sad. I don't get it. I really don't get what this, how does this benefit you? Are your egos that fragile that being right in your little pea brain is more important than being correct? Like, oh no, I was right about Trump all along. That does it for you, even if you're making a fool of yourself. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's sad. You're sad. Somebody had texted a number of times. I don't see a good outcome in Iran without boots on the ground. I get your point. We're not there yet. We'll see. See, we've got to remember, once the IRGC, once the SS is defanged, there's all kinds of options. And that could include international peacekeeping. It could include a lot of things. We don't know. We just don't know. One of the pea-brains, you're fake news, Bob. Please tell me what's fake. Tell me what's wrong, but see, you can't. You think that this is the problem with the left, again, because they're so fragile ego-wise. They're so fragile. They want to hang on to, whoa, Obama was great. Biden was great. The Democrat Party's great. They're so fragile that they have to just continue any lie they start with and pretend they didn't say the exact opposite just a couple of years ago. These are crazy people. They're tough to deal with. It's crazy. But in this setting, they give me the opportunity to expose them by showing themselves. So that's a good thing. And at that, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will return. Phil Collins. Murph tells us his date, 1990. Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Moved up to number 5 with his hit, I Wish It Would Rain Down. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. And, yeah, I got to tell you, these people are frightening. And they will not change. Bob B says, could you imagine Trump telling Milley about this operation? Remember the guy who said, I told the Chinese, don't worry. I'll tell you if Trump's going to do anything. And he should have been hung for treason. Yeah, they had to, period. They had to keep it quiet. Had to keep it within he and the Israelis, and it worked. And it worked, thank God. Oh, Lord, I don't know. Well, see, I'm not going down your rabbit hole. I've used you enough to point out fact, truth, and reality. At some point, your insanity is just a waste of my time. And we're at that point as we head toward the top of the hour. Reminding you, the live stream. And you can see my smiling face, well, alternatively scowling when I think of one of the left-wing lunatics. And my great, all-time great T-shirt on WILKNewsRadio.com, and you could go to the Bob Cordaro Show and you could watch it. And that is brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Roach Supply is the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. Celebrating 75 years in business, which means not that they're doing something right, but that they're doing everything right for the people who deal with them. It means everything. That kind of continuity, we're into the 3rd generation now. And by the way, the 3rd man, we're in the 4th. Ron Roach is still with us at age 93. He's the 2nd generation. Crazy stuff. And also want to remind you, our own ray of sunshine, Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor, Premier Sotheby's in Naples. You could get to Tina by looking her up at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida, or directly, Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. She's great. She's your trusted source for Florida real estate, and she specializes in Southwest Florida. So I'm very interested to see if Trump delays this deadline. And I mean, let me say this. His sort of herky-jerk way of doing this, it doesn't seem like something that I would do. But it's worked over and over and over again. So I sort of say, well, okay, let's let the art of the deal guy do this. Because it's worked repeatedly. In trade situations, in military situations, in war and peace. He knows his audience. His audience is, can the IRGC hang on to some of their power, or do they get it destroyed right underneath their feet, which then ends all their leverage over the Iranian people? We're going to see. I happen to believe that the only way you could have a true and free Iran is to take away the economic leverage that they have over the country. Bob B. pointing out the water, control the water. They've controlled all the resources. They've perfected what Hitler's Waffen-SS did in Germany pre-World War II. They perfected it. And they are actually as or more evil. Crazy stuff. Absolute craziness. And they are evil in its purest sense. The leadership of Iran is pure evil, the purest on the planet. More evil than Russia, more evil than the Red Chinese, more evil than Korea, Cuba, the former Venezuela, more evil than all of them. And their clerical side wants to bring about the return of the 12th Imam, the end of the world. Why would you give them money? Why would you give them hundreds of billions of dollars in oil revenue? Why would you not inspect their ballistic missile development and their nuclear weaponries development? Why would you not do that? I mean, it's insanity. We not only didn't check what they were doing, we not only didn't stop what they were doing, we gave them the money to do it under Obama, and then on an accelerated version, Biden. Wow. Couldn't be any dumber. Unbelievable. It's unreal. All right. It's time. And I just mean for the news. Cordaro Jewelers. It's an amazing jewelry store. Cutie, I made Cutie's birthday with a gift from Cordaro Jewelers because they are the premier jeweler in Northeast Pennsylvania. But we talk about the watch because we tell our time with it. I've got a Picardo's watch, but they've got Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock, and more. It's an amazing store, and there's another family company, third generation, because they are good. We'll be back. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:11 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers Watch this beautiful Tuesday, April 7, the year of our Lord 2026. Here in the great Northeast, this is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior care community, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John. Men we've lost, but honor. Like Gene Cole, Dalton, James Fry, Hazel Township, formerly of Summit Hill, and Joseph Rocky Graziano of Drums. So with history, our great founding fathers, and who we will not allow to be canceled, by the way, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that after that brief news adjournment, we'll continue our meeting and that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who listen. A number of you reminding me about a certain thing, and don't think we forgot. What a disgrace. What a bleeping disgrace. Joe Biden. They hung a hometown hero banner. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. They should be completely, utterly ashamed of themselves. But no, when they found out that the hometown hero banners were for veterans, the response of one of them was, well, he risked his life every time he left the White House. My God. It's wrong. It's stupid. Take the damn banner down. He's not a veteran. If you want to make fools of yourselves and honor that crumb, feel free, but not as a hometown hero. Period. Day 113, Biden banner disgrace, stolen valor. Tell your friends in the Greenwood Neighborhood Association, take the banner down. Oh, Lord, I don't know. You just look at this nonsense, and I mean, you want to think about how stupid you have to be to want to honor Joe Biden. Like that's, as our friend Jimmy Fallon would say, weapons-grade stupidity. It's inexplicable. They find out they're wrong and they keep going. Now there's pink paint on it. Somebody hit it with some pink paint. And I was like originally, oh, I wish they didn't do that. Now I don't give a spit. Because the people who are keeping it up there are that stupid. Sorry. Why they choose to be that idiotic, I don't know. And they've got it perfect out now. Oh, we've got to take it down. We can't, we got to clean it off. And then just never put it up again. And then they pretend they won because apparently their little baby egos are in the way here. Oh, we'll never bend to. Oh, yeah, right. Hey, speaking of great things, after I have to speak of fools, reminded our live stream where you could see my scowling and sometimes smiling face WILKnewsradio.com. You press Bob Cordaro Show, you'll find it. Roach Supply. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. They're celebrating 75 years in business. Visit roachsupply.com today. That's ROCHE. And, of course, this hour brought to you by our friend Tina Morocco. She is a ray of sunshine. She's with Premier Sotheby's International Realty in Naples, Florida. You can find her at Sotheby's Realty in Naples, or go to Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. Somebody asked, hey, Bob, isn't stolen valor a crime? It is. But remember who's doing it. The fools who are the majority, apparently, of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, at least the majority that show up. How do you accuse that? It's not a crime. It's a crime against sanity. Somebody says assemble a group of veterans to go and take it down. No, I do not want anyone getting in trouble for this. I get a kick out of the fact somebody hit it with some pink paint. I didn't get to look at it yet. Which, by the way, I don't want to go over and look at it because the roads that Mayor Paige Cognetti is giving us are so horrible. Like I don't want to ruin my car to go see the banner. So I didn't go. And the newspaper, the sickening newspapers, the annual summer paving work set. That's what they put in, as though Paige doesn't do it for her congressional run. Please drive through the streets of Scranton, Greenridge, Hill Section, West Scranton, South, doesn't matter where. And you will see how horrible a mayor she is. And she wants to do more damage. Frightening. Absolutely frightening. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. And now we have a banner to a guy who dodged service to his country, claiming that he's a hometown hero. Has he been back since he's not president anymore? Yeah, because he loves his hometown. Oh, yeah. Nobody wants the clown. Everybody knows what a disaster he is, except apparently the fools who run the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. It's unbelievable. It's scary. Wow. It's breathtaking. And yet they continue. But guess what? So will we. We'll take a break, hear from our great sponsors, a little history, a little music, and then you at 570-883-0098 to call or to text. I told Murph, I said, we got to do more, modern music, I guess. It's not quite the same as the oldies, is it? But we'll keep doing it. Why not? Come on. You got to stay current somehow. Although this is 2001, somebody called Godsmack moving up the charts with their hit Awake. Yeah, Murph goes deep. Bob Cordaro back with you. And then back to 1954. Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of the greatest leaders this country's ever had. He talked about the importance of containing the spread of communism and into China. But he was wrong. Concerned about the domino theory. He didn't use that term, but they adapted it from him. We mistook wars of anti-colonialism for communism and treated communism like it was a monolith, which it was not. And we drew ourselves into Vietnam as a result, unfortunately. Hey, during the commercial break, I wish he had stayed to say hello. A friend of the program, Andy Lentowski, lawyer up in Moscow. I get this Scranton Eagles helmet, a mini Scranton Eagles helmet. Can you see it on the? I'm going to show it on the live stream. I'll put it up there. It's really cute. I'm going to put it somewhere. I never played for the Eagles, I might add. I played college, all that. I did not play for the Eagles. And Andy says, Dear Bob, because I quote him all the time. Andy from Daleville, he writes great stuff. He says, I collect New York Giants mini helmets. I heard you speaking one day about the Scranton Eagles on your show. It brought back memories of my fleeting moment in Scranton Eagles tryout camp in the early 90s. I went through the entire camp, and at the end, the coach said I could keep coming around, but that due to roster limits and all that, so I stopped coming. But I can say that I was never actually cut. I was a parole officer at the time, and I noticed several of the players wearing ankle bracelets. Well, I know that deal. And he continues, so I figured it would be in my best interest to let that dream go. Anyway, when you started talking about the Scranton Eagles, I thought I would see what I could do to craft a Scranton Eagles helmet. I had an extra white helmet shell, and I had the decals made. Unfortunately, I had to buy them in lots of 15, so I have extras. Thank you, Andy. So I've got this really precious, really cool Scranton Eagles helmet now from our guy, lawyer, Andrew Lentowski. Nice, Andy. And Andrew, you bring good stuff to the show all the time. So I thank you for that and appreciate it. And I'll take it home. I'll put it somewhere. I'm happy to. Sean from Larksville says, got to love Godsmack. Bobby, put it in your workout playlist and get those reps in. Godsmack. I'd never heard of them before. Murph goes so deep with this music. And that's what people say, well, I want to, could you play this? Could you play that? I seldom do because Murph puts in a lot of time and a lot of important effort. Because remember what we're trying to do. We're trying what's past is prologue. And so everything we do on the program, we want to be in historical context. None of this stuff has not happened before. You look at the Iranians, and you can see the Nazis. And they don't control the minds of the populace, but they perfected what the Nazis did in Germany, particularly as it relates to the IRGC, their Waffen-SS. And their maniacal, fanatical pursuit of world dominance will bring us a world war if we don't stop it. Donald Trump is stopping it. Lee pointing out on the streets in Scranton that our horrible mayor is now pretending she's going to fix. He points out, don't forget she was given $70 million from the Biden administration and the streets are still that bad. Isn't that sick? I was saying, fix the streets. Fix the streets, fix City Hall, and put a damn real pool in at Naog. All good for the people of Scranton. No, we got to spend millions on consultants. See, this is the left-wing lunatic, the mindset. The people that you serve are merely a byproduct and to be used for your agenda. In her case, it's all personal agenda. Oh, I want to be congressman. I want to be one of the squad. Yeah. Disgrace. And I've got to live on your streets. Oh, my neighbor. I'm not going to mention who it is. But he's in his mid-70s at least. I'm taking Chauncey for a walk yesterday. And there's this pooling and puddling. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, after the patching that Cognetti put on our street, our block, either to shut me up or to stick it to me. I don't know which. Because they only did my block. So this neighbor, he's down there. He doesn't have any tools. He's clearing the grate. Because Paige Cognetti won't do it, can't do it, doesn't even know they exist. So that the water will drain instead of pool on the street. He's clearing it. And it's about a block and a half, more than a half a block away from his own home. He was doing it for the sake of the neighborhood because he knows Mayor Cognetti sucks and won't do it. Unreal. It's truly unreal. Somebody texts in, Bob Biden, the worst of the worst, sold his office to China. Shell accounts for family members. Sold out his Catholic faith to Frankenstein transgender doctors, mutilating innocent children. Don't forget, he was the abortion leader. So no priest should ever give him communion. They continue. Committed treason. Open the borders. Let terrorists, drug dealers, murderers, men and women's sports, all these sick, evil policies Biden and his administration promoted for America. And the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, hang that banner on your pole. Yeah, tell the truth about him. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll ask, see if I get the rights, and I'll hang up a counter Biden describing what he was and what he is. Maybe that's what I'll do. Not a bad idea. And so we'll have one Biden lie brought to you by the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association and one with the truth brought to you by the rest of us. All right, let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We have some actual veterans to honor. We're going to do so after these messages. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And he brings to the citizens of Northeast Pennsylvania, particularly those of us who are seniors, the Serenity Care personal care community. Senior care living that is the gold standard in Northeast Pennsylvania. 4 locations. The Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia care services at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in the area and beautiful personal care homes for seniors to live in. All 4 of these locations have been completely renovated inside and out, and they're accepting new residents. An all-inclusive monthly rent. The best. Serenity Care. Joseph Graziano. His nickname was Rocky. We lost him February 11th at age 83. He was from drums. Born in Hazleton, Rocky was a graduate of Hazleton High School, class of 61, where he played football. After high school, he served all of us and his country in the United States Marine Corps. As a proud U.S. Marine, Rocky carried the values of honor, courage, and commitment throughout his life, and remained deeply appreciative of the bond he shared with fellow Marines. Following his service with the Marine Corps, he worked in Kentucky before returning to Pennsylvania, where he was employed for many years at Tobyhanna Army Depot. God, we forget what a gem that is for this area. At Tobyhanna, he served as an electronics equipment leader until his retirement. Avid golfer. He also loved to ride motorcycles. Member of the Marine Corps League, the Valley Vets VFW, and the Flying Aces Motorcycle Club. Those who knew him will remember his independent spirit and principled character. Rocky was an active member of the parish community at St. John Bosco Church Sugarloaf. A dedicated husband to his beloved wife, Karen. They were both involved with the pre-Cana program, where they helped prepare engaged couples for marriage. Rocky was preceded in death by his wife, Karen, sisters, and a brother. Survived by his stepson, Jeffrey Marsilio, along with his wife, Kristen. Step-grandsons, Colton, Ryder, other family members. Rocky Joseph Graziano, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by the gold standard in senior care, Serenity Care, and our man, John Basiliga. Oh, we got to move the Scranton Eagles helmet. Brought to you by our man, Andy Lentowski. AccuWeather forecast. Brought to you by Montage Mountain Resort, which is swinging into spring. Today, windy and chilly. Cloudy this morning. Feels almost like you could ski. Then a blend of sun and clouds this afternoon, high 44. 42 degrees at Montage Mountain right now. Tonight, clear and colder. It's going to dip to 23. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. 55 degrees, low 30. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun, 59, low 40. Friday, turning cloudy and warmer, high 73, although it'll still dip to 43 at night. Saturday, cooler with clouds yielding to sun, high 60, low 35 degrees. That's our weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort, the best Wagyu burger you'll ever have. See, I know that song. I like it. This date, 2005, Murph tells us Evanescence released their hit Bring Me to Life. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. My man Rick Bigelow, he's always on top of everything. He said, here's some info on various police military organizations under the Nazis. This was from a presentation I did on Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the USSR. He says the analogy to the IRGC is entirely appropriate. Now here's the Nazi Schutzstaffel, the SS. The paramilitary group formed in 1925 as a personal security force for Hitler. Heinrich Himmler became the leader in 1929 and remained in power until 1945. Three main groups: the Allgemeine SS, general policing; the Waffen SS, combat units of the German army; the Totenkopfverband ran the concentration camps. At its height, there were about 800,000 SS. Other groups: the Geheimstaatspolizei, the Gestapo, the internal German secret police. It's hard pronouncing these names. I love the German language, by the way, but the Sicherheitsdienst, the SD, intelligent unit of the SS. The Einsatzgruppen, the SS paramilitary death squads. The Sturmabteilung, stormtroopers, also known as the Brown Shirts, original security police of the Nazi Party. After its leader was assassinated on the orders of Himmler, most of its functions passed to the SSS. The Totenkopfverband were the Death's Head units. To make things more insidious, Rick Bigelow says, there are around 8 Muslim units in the SS. Most of these were from the Balkans or the USSR. So when an historian of the magnitude of Rick Bigelow says my comparison is appropriate, well, then I know it is. Chuck from Carbondale says, Bob, they keep running an ad, and this is Paige Cognetti, blaming Congressman Rob on cuts to Medicaid. Another Democrat lie. I know. I mean, they will lie. Paige Cognetti will lie for the entire campaign. She will tout her accomplishments as mayor when I've got to ride the streets every day. When a neighbor in his late 70s has to clear the basins so water will drain, not pool. Yeah. Now I know where it is. I'll have to do it next. I'm not going to have him going down there. I'll take care of it. Chauncey won't help, but I'll do it. Let me text him, Bob, you and the texters' comparisons are right on. Why doesn't the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association tell the truth about the true Joe Biden instead of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association hanging a stolen valor hometown hero banner portraying Biden as a hero when he's truly a total disgrace to the presidency and the country? Yep. Unbelievable. By the way, there's a guy we'll probably have on, if I could find his what he sent on Instagram, basically saying while the establishment was screwing around with position papers and analyses, Trump was acting. He took action. And that's Bill Walton, America's Common Sense CEO. He was a former New York Stock Exchange CEO. He's a vice chairman of the CPAC. And he posts all these. Trump said, I know what this is. And I'm going to take action. We're not going to sit and wait for these fools, these evil fools, to start a world war. Hey, just to remind you, our live stream every day brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Roach Supply is the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, celebrating 75 years in business. You go there or Chapman Supply, Clark Summit. Visit roachsupply.com, R-O-C-H-E. Fantastic. 75 years in business, tells you all you need to know. It says they're great. Somebody said they should replace the hometown hero banner with a hometown zero banner. Yeah, well, it's got its paint stains on it now. Somebody, don't take it into your own hands. But this jackass, he deserves, he deserves the stains. And I don't want anybody to get in trouble, though. Don't do it. And just final reminder, bringing you all of this, the great Tina Morocco, our ray of sunshine. She's with Sotheby's International Realty in Naples, Florida. You can reach her there on their website or go to Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Kings of Leon. Where does he find this stuff? Oh, my man John Perillo says, did they make any music after the year 2000? Maybe. Not very good stuff. But this day, 2008, Murph tells us, the Kings of Leon had the number one hit with Sex on Fire. Well, we're going to finish with something much better, which is Tony Orlando and Dawn. It was a collaboration of myself and Bulldog. But people don't know, Bulldog and I speak Spanish, or at least Spanglish, wouldn't you say, Bulldog, when we're communicating with each other during the program. In any event, we're going to finish with Tony Orlando and Dawn, 1973. It's near and dear to my heart, although there were no yellow ribbons when I got home from prison. There were none. I want to point that out. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree was the number one adult charts hit, and that's what we're going to finish with. Both of us decided that's a pretty good thing. One of our great listeners, he's really on this Biden banner thing today. Well, no, here's another one. Hi, Bob. John from Edwardsville here. He says, just want to let you and everyone know they postponed the Rail Riders game tonight due to the cold weather. Thanks, LTS. All right. So you've got a chance for slightly warmer weather. That's a shame, but probably a good decision. You know? So no Rail Riders game tonight due to the cold weather. I remember I was telling somebody about this the other day. Maybe it was on the air. I don't think so. I had to throw out the first ball when we brought the Yankees in. And it was freezing. And I also have a shoulder destroyed from football and boxing, my right shoulder. Can't throw a ball, throw like a girl. And that's an embarrassment to a lot of girls, by the way. And so I had said, you know what, this is going to kill me, but I've got to throw the ball. And I somehow did it without looking ridiculous, but it was a freezing night just like this when the Yankees had their first game in this area. So, in any event, my story. Want to mention, finally, our 3 veterans we saluted today, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care Personal Care. By the way, I've become interested in this chemtrail thing over the course of time. It's curious. The sky will be clear, then all of a sudden there's stuff all over the place. And then you have places like Florida that have banned it. We have not in Pennsylvania. Well, we got a left-wing lunatic governor. Anyway, our veterans. James Fry, Hazel Township, formerly Summit Hill. Joseph Rocky Graziano of Drums. And Gene Cole of Dalton. Thank you to them. Thank you to their families. Great, great, great people. Thanks to our friend Tina Morocco, our ray of sunshine. Hopefully we'll be talking to her tomorrow or Thursday to get a little sunshine in this amidst this cold weather. Always have a great day with even when I get fired up, I get fired up. What are you going to do? It's just what is, right? You have to. That's part of it. You know what our mission is. We want to laugh every day. We want to learn every day. We want to become justifiably outraged. And we want to become inspired. I think we got it all done today. So you guys have a great afternoon. The Sue Henry Show next, the Rob O'Donnell Show after that. But for now, I've got to bang the gavel to close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense and tell you, God willing, I will be with you tomorrow morning. No Red Barons game tonight. Meeting of the Club for Common Sense adjourned. I'm going to take my Scranton Eagles mini helmet and I'm going to flee this venue. Have a great afternoon.